Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Earth 2 Shagna. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Mo Crosby. It's Earth 2 Comic Cast. We're back to give you the review for Let's try this again. Welcome, everybody, to the planet. How do I not know how to do the intro for my own show? You know what? Fuck it. It's your boy KB, Trap God with the Dadbod, America's favorite dad goon. That's right. That's right. That's how we introduce Kyle on the show.
But what welcome to Earth CC.
Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and Lovecraft Country talk is the norm. It's your boy Mo Crosby. We're here again. You know who's here with me. We're here to talk Lovecraft Country Season 1 review. We're gonna be talking about the first 5 episodes that we've seen from what we've seen so far. I don't think we're going to actually go into the episodes exactly. I just want to talk about the show in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's and then next week, when we see the new episode, we'll actually go into the episode itself. So I think we just want to react to the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's do that way. So Lovecraft Country. What is the story behind it? I think you know a little bit about the story behind Lovecraft Country. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's start there.
The story behind Lovecraft was the original author of Lovecraft. He didn't copyright his work, and he was an open racist.
Very much so.
And the idea of Lovecraft Country was to take inspirations of his work and to make it its own. Make the protagonist Black American.
Right. So it's like a spit in the face, technically, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a spit in the face and spit on his legacy, which I like. I mean, this is doing it the right way, because it's interesting, it's intriguing. I like it, but there's some things I hold issue to.
Let me stop you right. Let me stop you right there. So it's been 5 episodes of the show. Very, like you said, very interesting show, and it's in the fact that what they choose to go with, the subject matter they choose to go with, and the way they choose to do it is where a lot of people, like myself, I'll go right ahead and say, are finding the show very difficult to take in. Again, it's a beautiful show. Yeah, it looks really good. So let's talk about what we can do right now, right? So episodes 1 through 5 have looked really good. The effects have looked good. The CG has looked good when they use CG. It has been a very good-looking show.
HBO doesn't. They're not stingy with their budget. I mean,
you could tell.
We've done Game of Thrones. We've done with such a Watchmen. HBO does not hold back when it comes to their budget.
Yes, they're not frugal. They like to dish out the bread. They like for you to see it and love it.
Yeah.
The acting on the show, I like the acting. I like what I'm getting from the kid. I don't remember I don't exactly know his name. Let me look it up. I like what I'm getting from him.
Yeah, I was impressed by him early.
Jonathan Majors, who plays Atticus. I love his acting. He's impressed me in every episode. Yeah, I think go ahead.
Hang on. So I don't know if a lot of people know this. He was just casted for Ant-Man 3. He's going to be playing
Kang.
Yeah, King the Conqueror.
No, Kang, because we was Kangs.
No, he was Kang.
He was Kangs, right.
I'm happy about that, but what's crazy is I was actually trying to fan cast him to play Blue Marvel for the role. Yeah,
there's so much he can do. I mean, I think another person had fan cast him because someone fan cast him in DC and they wanted him to do Jon Stewart, a younger version of a Jon Stewart, which I could definitely 100% see. So he's a really, really brilliant actor. Journey Smollett, who plays Letty, I love how she commands a lot when she walks, when she's stomping. I like her command in that.
She's a great actor.
And I know she was really, really good in Birds of Prey as a Black Canary. Wow, I really love that. I love that from her. Michael K. Williams, come on now. If you've seen The Wire, He played on Boardwalk Empire. Michael K. Williams. You get really good.
I feel like Marvel wasted him too, because he was in the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
And like they did nothing with him after that. They did a shot, and that was it. And I was like, what?
and we, even though it was short lived, we get Courtney B. Vance in 2 episodes, and I feel like those 2 episodes of Courtney B. Vance were good. So again, not much can be said about the way the acting is and the stylized of the show. So the visuals are good, the acting is good. Now this is where I feel like a lot of the drawbacks for me happen, right? And a lot of the music choices, the soundtrack is very, for me, it's why, and I see it as it's a black show. It also wants to be hip to catch the young audience. So they use a lot of these like hip songs and like, you know, cool like 100 Billboard 100 songs, and it's like in the show and the environment that you're trying to create, those things drag me out of it.
To me, it's weird too, because you have the money for licensing music, right? Like, you have the money for the effects. This is HBO. This is not Netflix. That's not a dig at Netflix. But Netflix does not throw around the money as much as HBO does. Like, it's pretty well known.
They don't.
So this is HBO. You could buy licensing to certain songs from that period. Like, don't take me out that period and give me Cardi B. And that's not a dig at Cardi B. It's just, you have a period piece movie. I don't need to hear anything. I don't need to hear anything right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to hear "Bitch Better Have My Money" by Rihanna in a scene that should have some sort of like theme, like theme from the era. Like, I just feel like it should. But it's something where we understand. It's Jordan Peele is an executive producer on the show. J.J. Abrams is an executive producer on the show, and it's written by a black woman. I forget her name. Please God, don't.
Somebody told me her name recently, and I forgot her name.
Wow,
I sound for other work in the past.
Yeah, we sound horrible for forgetting her name. But all in all, the acting is so. Again, here we go. The acting is good. The visuals are good. And another thing where I feel like, I don't know about you, but for me, the writing on the show is a little, and it's more so about the writing and what they choose for their themes.
Yeah.
So thematically, right? We've covered the fact that there's a story behind the show where Lovecraft was very racist. The original writer is very, very racist, and this is kind of like a spit in his face. But I think the theme of it's a sci-fi horror period piece, right? And one thing they're doing that I'm not a big fan of, and again, don't get me wrong, is the fact that you're tossing the overt racism in it, and that's the point of. And I think that's the part of, okay, well, it's supposed to be horror, but that's the one part where it's like that's the scariest thing happening on the show. I'm not a fan. Hold on. Not that I'm, not I'm saying I don't want them to throw their racism around yet, because again, it's the period and you need that, right?
Yeah, tackle the topic of racism if you're going to tackle it, but don't drown me with that's all we have to offer is racism. Right.
Don't let me see, a cop is coming. Oh, this is the scariest thing on the show. I mean, we just did Umbrella Academy season 2 where they did it really beautifully in that scene. Especially now, but the difference is Umbrella Academy was like a couple scenes, wasn't the whole show, right?
Yeah, because it was Watchmen, which basically the whole season was about racism. You know,
but it wasn't the biggest part of the show. It was one of the undertones, right? It was the undertone of the show, but it wasn't the biggest part. Like everything else that happened, irrespective of it. The racism still happened, and everything that happened. And I think what the show is what drags me down on the show, what makes it not as brilliant as it should be, is the fact that it's racism, and it's like the better parts that should be shining through with the horror and the scientific and the sci-fi part of it are the parts that are and to me the parts that are suffering the most.
Yeah, and they leave too many hanging threads like every episode. Like I'm not sure if this show's already showed me, because at first I was thinking maybe each episode is an anthology. Like this is this.
I thought it was going to be an anthology, but apparently that's not what we're getting.
That's not what we're getting. You know, like so all these episodes are connected. It's not an anthology. So why are you leaving so many hanging threads? And that bothers me. Like, what's the biggest? Like the basement, the situation with the basement, right?
Right.
The people who tried to break in the house and they were in the basement, and all of a sudden, some kind of way, the house made the bodies go in the basement. You just leave that hanging thread there. Like, why? You know, the whole ghost that haunts the house, and it was an angry ghost. And at one point in time, you know, like now you have the other groups of ghosts that were there that were blacks that were murdered by the racist ghosts, and now, no, forget it. We're not doing that.
Exactly. Like that's it. Like that's it. Like so. I feel like inside of that episode, they should have cleaned that up.
Yeah.
So there's so many things, but you know, let's kind of breeze through the individual episodes just a little bit. So Sundown, which I thought was a very interesting opener for the show, right? Where you know they start this trip. You know, Atticus and his uncle and Letitia start this trip to go find their father, which we end up finding out was a letter he wrote under duress, and I'm just like, this it? Like. And it's just the ways when we find out things, it's just like, oh, that's it? Like, that's it? I don't know. It's just
thought into it. I'm thinking they must have decided, look, we're going to write the story like how stories were written in the 70s and don't give too much context. Because if you go back and read old books or old movies, it's kind of like, yeah, that's the plot. And there's not a lot of thought into that plot. So it does seem like lazy writing when we have the benefit of the storytelling that we have now.
Right.
So I'm thinking that's what they did.
It's looking like that's what they did. But the better part of it, right? So the Sundown episode, I enjoyed. You know, it felt good. You know, that scene. Okay, so this is where
the Sundown episode had me asking for more because they did so good with that one episode.
Yes.
It has thrown me off for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Because, you know, most shows start off slow and they build. This show started off fireworks, everything.
And then it just dropped and then it's been, you know, up and down ever since.
Yeah. Like even with the monsters that they showed during the Sundown episode, right? Like,
I enjoyed it.
Give me a history on that. Like I need to know more of those monsters. Like I need to know why are they there? Why do they go underground? Like, no, we didn't even go back to that. Like, what? This is a real legit threat.
Apparently they're vampires that they're vampire dogs or some beings that are afraid of light, and when they bite you, you become one. And that's it.
Give me more of that.
That was just they appeared in 2 episodes actually, right? They appeared in the Sundown episode, and then the next episode we saw them again. But again, there was nothing to it. It was a whistle, and they were done, and that's it. Like that was it. Like I actually would have loved to know something more. Like you're right, something more about them, you know. And then the Sundown, where I thought Sundown was good because Sundown had the balance of racism and the scare effects. Because in that opener, you had the racist cop who was trying to do the shit, and then you had the monsters, and I'm like, yo, this is what it's gonna be, right? Just like you, this is exactly what the show is gonna be. And then we get episode 2, which is Whitey's on the moon, and then nothing. It was just a long drawn out episode that, you know, that's where Courtney Uncle George gets shot and he dies, even though Letty gets shot and then she gets brought back, and
which that kind of messed me up. Yeah, because I mean he had brilliant acting. Like
it was fantastic. Courtney B. Vance was fantastic, and he got sent out of the show. And I'm like, unless there's a way you're bringing him back, you know, unless there's something, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe he comes back, you know. Maybe he comes back because Letty's back, and the wife has found something. We don't know. And then you get, you know, so that episode was just a long drawn out talking episode based on the fact that Atticus or Tick is a distant relative of Titus Braithwaite, and he's the one with the power to help him open the Garden of Eden. And it's just and then that whole scene to me didn't even, like, there was no scare factor, there was no horror, there was nothing. It was just another oh, we're white and we're better than you, and you can join us, but you can join us on a basis of the fact that you like. It was just come
And
on,
look at
man.
this
Like
house. Look at this fancy, beautiful house.
yes. So
Which,
again,
I have another issue with because we have yet to go back to that house.
I guess we're done with it, and we move on to Holy Ghost. So now, just like that, the first 2 episodes close, and that's the end of that chapter. We're never going back to it, right? And I'm like, okay, so this is how the anthology starts, because in the preview for that episode, right, in the preview for the next episode, we get kids playing with the Ouija board, and I'm like, okay, so we're going back into like a past episode of something interesting. Like we can't just, but they jump right. They just said fuck it. They jump right into another episode. Letty buys this house, and which again you alluded to, is haunted by a racist doctor who killed black people, and he wanted Letty out, but Letty decided to use the black people in the house to say. But this is the part where I said fine acting on the show because right, this is where I think Jonathan, right, or Tick, the guy who plays Tick, when he was possessed by the ghost and he was get out of my house, I thought that whole moment, I thought that was the best moment of the episode.
That was real, and so I had to watch the episode twice, 2 or 3 times. This is before I even knew we were going to cast for the show, right?
Right.
Because I wound up reading something online. I think it was Reddit, and they mentioned the whole Ouija board scene when if you're going to like his trip. Mind you, the show's taking place in Chicago, right? And it was like if you're going to like his trip to wherever, I think it was Mississippi or wherever, and the Ouija board went to no, and like they focused on the no. I had no idea what was going on because at one point in time I was like, is it 2 different timelines going on here? Why is it bouncing between this Ouija board room and a party? I feel like this group that's at this party isn't with the group that's doing. I just felt like it was something odd about the shots or whatever. Well, come to find out from the Reddit group, the kid that was at when they asked, will he enjoy his trip? That was supposed to be Emmett Till.
Oh wow!
But how would you even know?
Wow, they make no mention of it. Like that is something big. They should have done that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's just so much stuff you're leaving off on the table because again, if you want to throw some horror into it, if you had said Emmett or if you had said Mr. Till or something,
I think they did say Emmett. To be honest with you, I think when I watched it the second or third time, I heard his name. But like the first time, I just okay, and I thought nothing of it. But I could swear the second time or the third time, I heard them say, "Will Emmett enjoy his trip?" And I was like, oh, but at the same time, like I would have totally missed that anyway.
Right, and then we get episode 4, which was Indiana Jones, journey to the center, journey to the center of the earth. And I sat to myself and I thought, yo, like, okay, so this was the one episode where I was like, okay, so something is happening, obviously, because the last 2 episodes nothing really happened, but something is happening. So good, right?
I was bored to death with that episode.
And I don't think it should have been like that. I think they should have done so much with it. And even the that plank thing, they're walking the plank, it didn't seem scary. I'm like, they're definitely gonna make it. Like, I'm like, there was nothing ominous that was happening when they found the Valkyrie or whatever. There was no stakes. And I'm like,
yeah.
And I think there's the reason there are no stakes is because you set it up from episode 2. For them to just keep going through everything just like that. Like there's nothing. There's no besides Courtney Vance Uncle George dying.
Yeah, that's been the only stake. Like I feel like you should have had a character there in that scene with the plank that was cannon fodder to die in that scenario. So that
honestly, you should have had that. You should have had because you have your main. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When the flood was happening and he was trying to get to that little room thing because they had to get there before sunrise or sunset or whatever, and the flood was I was like, yeah, they're going to survive. And
when she lost the pages and she had to swim to go get. I'm like, of course she's gonna get it. Like there was no instance where I'm like, these guys will fail.
Yeah, Tick's not going to die. We know that because he's basically the main character.
He's a Great White.
Yeah, he's the Bray White, and the whole show basically centers around him and him being the legacy child or whatever, right?
Right.
The what's her name?
Letty isn't gonna die because that's his girlfriend.
Yeah, she's not going to die, and plus she's not no knock to him, but she's like the next best actor on the show
Right now. Yes, the only person worth watching. Like, I mean, it's interesting because like Uncle George's wife finds that thing, that solar system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she takes it from the house, which is what everyone now is going to be looking for. So I'm guessing like that's something big, because that's now the centerpiece of what's going on, right? The other lodge is looking, the Chicago Lodge is looking for it, and what's her name? The white shorty, Christina is also looking for it. And which now what I did kind of like episode 5, to be honest. I did kind of like it.
Get to that, but the one character that they went to, I don't want to misgender this character. She huh?
Oh yeah. The I know who you're talking about. The
I don't want to misgender. I don't want to misgender that character.
Just say they.
Yeah, that. So when they got to them, I thought that was interesting how they told the story of the two persons.
Yes.
The two person, two spirit, which that's actually true. So in the Native American culture, some tribes, when they would have people in their tribe that presented like that, they call them two spirits. Right. So I thought that was kind of cool that you kind of bring that to light, because
I thought that was very interesting, and that's a touch on what's going on in our very climate right now. So again, if you're going to do, I like when they do stuff like that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You see, that is brilliant, because again, there's some brilliant things they do, and then there's it's racism. You just fall back onto the horrors of racism, and that's the horror aspect of your show. Like in episode 5, where Letty's sister Ruby wakes up as a white woman after spending the night with William. Again, there's two things this show does, right? There's two things this show does that I look at and I'm like, interesting. They do racism, and then they do awkward sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, if we can't get you with the racism, we'll get you with the awkward sex scene, because we get to HBO, so we're going to use all our HBO shit, sex.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Because that's going to make you watch the show.
Right. No, I want brilliant, bro. I want brilliant, because I want what you did with them in that one little scene. I want what you did, with Atticus and Letty when they were trying to fight the monsters at the barn. I want what you did. I want those moments, but I want them more on the show. I don't just want little bits and pieces of that, know.
Because here's the thing. Not to skip back, but just to skip back, you had one brilliant moment, like you said, at the barn with the monsters and the police, and it was a situation of consciousness. Like, okay, do I let these white police who were just racist to me live? Do I give them a fighting chance? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. That was brilliant writing, because that was like that showed a moral compass of the character.
Right.
And then you get to episode 2, 3, 4, and now we're at episode 5. It's like, okay,
right.
What's the name? Chick's father slaughtered a two-spirit person, and there was nothing.
There was nothing, and Tick just beat his ass, and that's the end of it. Like, and he tossed the papers, the pages, and I'm like, there's no way like things are happening on the show without any like explanation or I don't see, unless there's something that they're going to do later on. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm asking for instant gratification. I think that's what I'm doing.
At the end of episode 4, I think it was, Tick pulled the gun on, I forget the white actor.
It was episode 3. He pulled a gun on Braithwaite, Catherine Braithwaite.
Yeah, and that blew my mind. Like, dude, now here's the thing. I understand the period that this movie takes place in, but from shot to shot, I'm not sure if the directors did. Because, like, dude, you just pulled a gun on a white woman. What are you thinking? You just
Bruh.
walked into the store where she was just by herself, and you
close the blinds and
like
pull
nobody
it. Like,
like
if the gun, yeah, exactly. If the gun went off, what were you going to do?
And then she pointed it out. So I was like, that's what I said, from shot to shot. Like they had to reshoot that scene. Like that could not have been the original scene. Because when she said them, like, okay, obviously you guys know that this was dumb. Like somebody,
yeah, and then they made her say it, like, this was dumb. I'm like, yeah, nah, like I don't get it. I don't get it. And then like, so let's brush on episode 5 real quick. Ruby wakes up as a white woman. I don't know if I didn't. I like the episode. I like what it stood for. I like what it.
I like that after explained a little bit more.
Yeah, I like what they were trying to go for. I think it was very interesting. I think to me this is the better episode of the show. What they were trying to do and how they were trying to make that discussion happen. I think they hit it. I think they hit the fact that even that the only person who has any perks in this world is the white man. I think they hit that because again, the white woman doesn't have any perks, or they have perks, but not as much as we think they do. Right. I think that's what they were trying to go for, but I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not gonna say it. But
well, I mean, we kind of touched on the previous cast too.
Yeah,
like the civil rights movement that happened with our culture, and the women's rights movement that happened around the same time in the 70s, and the issues with the women's rights movement weren't exactly the issues of the civil rights movement, but the women's rights movement got a lot of traction because they're white
women. Exactly. Like, am I supposed to feel sorry for you because? Yeah, am I supposed to feel sorry for you because? Like.
But that derailed the civil rights movement too.
Yeah, it did, because you're still in a better position socially than I am.
Yeah.
Like. Because you saw it when what was her name? Hillary. As when she was white, she was Hillary. When she bumped into the black kid and he was trying to help her, and the police came to destroy. Like, they wanted to destroy that kid's life.
Yes. And
so I'm like, okay, cry me a fucking river, like.
I mean, like, Tick pulling a gun on a white woman, same thing as pulling a gun on a white man. And
right.
Yeah. My issue that I have with the show, like, it's still like even though it's different, but it's still the same.
Very much the same. So I'm looking at all of it, and I'm saying to myself, like, oh no, like yeah, I mean, I can like it. I can like the discussion they're trying to have. I can like what they want to do, and then there's the song choices again that we talked about in the episode where you're watching it, and where Hillary's starting to come into her own as a white woman, and she walks into the store, and you hear Cardi B's Money, and I'm like, why? Like, why? There's so many better songs from a time period you can pull to make this happen. Why is this where you're going?
One, they have the money to license the song. That's the part about it. I can get it. They didn't have the money to license the song, but they did.
And then at the end, they're trying to have this big message, and it's coming across, and then you fuck it up because you have to play another Cardi B song because you want the black audience to be like, "Yes, Queen!" Like, come on with the game. I don't care about the bloody shoes references, bruh. Don't give me that. Just make it. It was brilliant. That was brilliant. And then it took me out of it in 2.5 seconds because I'm listening to Lil Bitch, You Can't Fuck With Me. If I'm like, right now, where this woman is making a huge statement. And I guess. I'm like, yeah, thank you very much, writers. Like,
whoever's in that contract department needs to be fired. Because
seriously, like, you just did the most. You took me out of it right here.
They found a millennial and they gave them a job. That's exactly what they did.
You know what I think that part is? That is some. Oh man, we are going to get canceled right now. That is a white person, a woke white person who's like, damn, this is how we're going to get the black people to watch. I think it's a woke white person doing the music for the show. I'm not really sure. If it's not, it's a overtly woke black person who thinks this is how other black people react to shit.
Yo, I know who did it. Umar Johnson. We getting canceled. That's gonna be our hashtag for this whole season. We're getting canceled.
We getting canceled. Like, seriously, I'm gonna throw that in there somewhere. Like, don't cancel us, But no, again, the show has brilliant moments. So all in all, right, we did a nice little review and reaction for the first 5. All in all, the show's had very, very brilliant moments.
Oh, wait, I think we missed something too. I think we did miss something.
Oh yeah, let me know.
Well, all right. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the sex scene, but I am.
Facts. I mean, because there's a lot of scenes, right? I think this is also at the time where the gay movement is trying to come up on its own, and it's still very taboo for Black men to be gay. So I can see where Atticus's father is who he is, and he's why, because I think the one scene where Atticus was looking for his father in the store, or no, he was looking for the bar owner, the person who runs the bar, and he's like, they're in the back, and he walks out, and the guy told him, they're in the back, and he tried to set him up, like, that was kind of, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that. That's overdone.
Yeah, so that's one thing. They overdid that sex scene, right?
Right.
I get that they're trying to show how woke they are, how I guess adapted they are, or accepting they are of gay culture or gay sex. So if I'm offending anybody, please forgive me. It's not meant to come off offensive, but they're trying to show how tolerant. I don't know what word you want to use for that. Insert whatever word you want to use for that, right? Whatever action word. But they're trying to show that, and in the process of that, you're trying to be over graphic and over detailed, and you spent more time in that than you spent with any character development at all this whole episode. You spent more time with that sex scene and trying to really show everything all the way down to this man coming, instead of but you didn't show any character development, or this episode really didn't have a plot. This whole episode really didn't have a plot at all.
No, it was just Ruby playing white women and playing dress up as a white woman. And now, there's a big reveal. We find out William is actually Catherine Braithwaite trying to be a man to infiltrate. Right, she's trying to be. You're right. I didn't see that too. That's a huge reveal. She's trying to, but her thing is, I think she's trying to play a man to get into the men's circle where she wouldn't be able to get into it, But she also wants to win the birthright of being a Braithwaite. Man, it's convoluted because her plan is to insert William into the order, right? And once William gets into the order, then I don't know, is she gonna come out, or is she going to continue to rule through William? I think she wants to be at the top, and she's gonna rule through William.
I think that's another symbolism as well. You ever saw this movie that Whoopi Goldberg did, where she had to act like a white man in order to run a company?
Yes.
It seems like that.
Yes.
In order for me to be successful, I have to be a man, or I have to have a man in the
front. A white man, because Atticus is a man and he's getting bare minimum. I think at the end of the day, what this show has shown me is that the Black women are getting shitted on regardless.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting too in this episode when she found out the one lady, for the position that she got at the store, the one lady who had the position, the Black lady.
She had no education.
Yeah, she had no education.
No formal education, no night schooling, nothing. And I didn't necessarily like how she came at her. Because,
I think that's another symbolism.
Yes, it is.
We get a little status, or if we can kind of assimilate with whiteness, we will completely look down on other Blacks.
Yeah, I like. You know what? I like that. I like that message there, but I didn't like seeing it. I think that's what it is. I didn't like seeing it because I don't. Everyone has their struggle. And I think it's one thing where she's a bigger woman, and the girl is a smaller person, and I think because she's smaller, she's like, oh, you probably here because you're smaller, or you probably here because I think in the back of her mind she thinks Shorty messed with the manager. It's a lot of things inside of that, but I didn't like how she kept coming for her because, oh, you have to be better than them, which is a message, which is the truth. But I didn't like how she kept coming for her and like kind of picked on her a little bit because now I'm here. I'm also above you, you know? Like I couldn't be here before, but now I'm here and I'm above you. So take that.
And it was kind of an interesting message that they gave as well. Like she came in there for the same position that the one lady had, but turned around and gave her a supervisor position,
assistant manager to be exact.
So they still show like, yeah, this is where we hold the black fat of the black woman, right? But we're still going to hold you.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know, again, another thing is the fact that she wasn't at her station at one time because she had to go help somebody else and go clean somebody else's station and go do this for somebody else. Like, because again, she's a black woman and she will constantly always be behind to the right. Like, even though we work at the same store, we're both sales associates, but I can't 100% continue to be a sales associate because I have to be your quote unquote like helper or your maid or something like that. So I mean, it was that those are very strong themes that they played with in that episode. That's why I said I like the episode. It's just some of the things that they did took me out of it. Like
there was questionable choices that they did throughout that.
Yeah, mind you, I've seen a lot of other shows play gay scenes or, you know, like gay sex scenes, and nothing. I still can't understand why that was so graphic. Yeah, I still can't understand why that was so graphic. You know,
it was weird because they didn't even do the straight sex scenes with Tick like that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
You know,
like,
and a lot of Tick scenes is where, you know, they had that one scene in the bathroom, right?
But it wasn't graphic. It was just a regular TV sex scene.
Right. All right, man. So you know, like all in all, Lovecraft Country is a show we like. Go ahead.
Have we ever seen her and her? I don't know the relationship between the birth wife. Like, is that her brother?
No. Apparently, that what we were told in episode 2 when they found the house was that was a companion. That's a person. That
have we ever seen them in the same scene together?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Might have to go watch episode 2 again so we can come back on the next show and correct that if they've been in the same show. Might have to watch episode 2 again. I might have to watch episode 3 to see if they did mention Emmett in that one scene. So those are the 2 things I'm gonna be doing in preparation for our next review and reaction of Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, I find it interesting, and like the sex scene and everything else now from not this episode but the last episode, right? When he picked her up at the bar. Like now, this gives me a lot more questions, but I don't have faith that the show's going to answer those questions.
Anyway, bro, let's hold off on further future talk. What I'm not gonna do is have because you know how we always do what are we expecting to see? Yeah, speculation. I don't really have any. I don't know if you do. I just want them to have a consistent. Yeah, I just want them to have a consistent show. Like I just want them to have fun. Like we've gotten to episode 4 and 5 may or may not have consistent storytelling, but I kind of want them to see that continue. And I want to see them use more moments and less racism. That's all I got. Again, yes. When I say let me clarify. When I say less racism, I don't mean like less. I mean less overt, like less. I'm a knock racism over the top of your head. That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
All in all, I think it's a fine show. I think it looks good. I think the acting is fine. I'm not necessarily a fan of the writing, but we'll be back next week to see what episode 6 has in store for us. Right, Kyle?
Yeah. More cohesive story. Don't give me cannon fodder. Like, now I don't want to say cannon fodder, but like just fluff stuff. Just give me the story because you give me a lot of fluff.
Right.
And then there's real good nips and cranny stuff that y'all have, but there's a lot of fluff around all. Like, no, right. I'm a filler. You're being nice, meaty stories.
Right. Thank you very much for watching. You're going to be listening to this on the podcast side of things. We will catch you next week for episode 6 review and reaction of HBO smash Lovecraft Country. Peace.
Peace.